Happy Friday! It's Friday. I don't know about you, but this has felt like the longest week ever. I don't know. It's been a long one, you guys. It's like I have to double check the calendar to be sure that it actually is Friday because it still definitely feels like Monday. It's been one of those. And I know you guys have been feeling the same way out there as we have talked about it all over Facebook. Hi, Marvin. Oh, man. You guys, I need a nap and some pizza. Oh, speaking of which, just a little chit chat. You know how we do. So speaking of which, last week I was talking about, hey Joan, I was talking about how much I missed pizza, right? And donuts. So I still have not had donuts, but I have had pizza since we last talked about it. And I've actually had it twice. So I found a pizza place that will deliver and they'll just kind of like drop it off on your front porch. And so I let them drop off the pizza on the front porch, and then I bring it in and put it on the counter, of course. And then you're supposed to like take it out of the box, but I don't have enough pizza pans. There are 5 people that live here, so we order like a lot of pizza. So I took, what are those, clothespins, and put clothespins on each one of the boxes, so you don't have to actually touch the box. You just open the box up with your clothespin and get your pizza. And then yeah, it was so worth it. I did it twice. It was so worth it. So I do feel like I'm in a little bit better mood now that I've had some pizza. Still haven't had my donuts though, so I don't know, still waiting to figure that one out. I wonder if they'll deliver some donuts to me. All right, you guys, so here we are at the end of another week, and I have a fun project for you guys. This one is, I have a love-hate relationship with this project because I love the finished results, but it requires me to use seed beads, and seed beads kind of make me crazy. And I do know how to do bead weaving. I have done some really amazing, I mean, not to toot my own horn, toot toot, I have done some really amazing bead weaving projects in my lifetime. However, they're not my favorite because seed beads make me insane. They're little and they're small and they get everywhere and they like to commingle, and it's just a thing, and I'm just not a fan of having to sort out seed beads at the end. It makes me screamy. So I avoid them, but they are a necessary evil because they look so good in certain projects, and this was a project that definitely required some seed beads. And so we are using some size 11s in red and some size 11s in white. And we're doing a little mix up of the herringbone wire wrapping because you guys know I can't stay away from that for very long. I love that. I did see, hold on, let me back up. Gotta back up. Wanda, you're my girl. Wanda says, bonus, quarantine pizza has no calories. Dude, does the same thing apply for donuts? No calories. You guys, I have been eating so bad. Like it's bad. Like we've been junk food junkies. It's just really bad because you would think, I was talking to Nile yesterday. You guys have time to hang out, right? Where are you gonna go? Everybody's at home. We can chat. Anyway, so sorry, not trying to make light of that. But humor is like my response to everything. Anyway, I was talking to Nile yesterday and we were talking about being at home. He's been like ultra productive. He's been running both business, or he has like a day job and then he runs Silver Silk, and he's been doing both of those things from home. And he said that he is like 30% more productive being at home, and that he's been eating so well, and instead of eating fast food, he's really taking care of himself and eating really well. And I'm like, I just ate a whole pizza and I had a bag of pork rinds, and you know, and I'm like, gosh, Nile makes me feel so bad because we're not eating out. I did have pizza twice. We're not eating out, but we're still eating really badly. So I feel like at the end of this, when we all like can escape our homes, we're all going to be 20 pounds heavier, and we're going to have to detox from all of the junk food. At least some of us, like us, we're not eating well. So anyway, that's my chit chat for the day. Oh my gosh, Joan says I put the video on my laptop on mute and started showing closed caption of what Sarah is saying. I can only imagine like how it translates. That's got to be funny. I'd imagine there are a lot of people who put me on mute. Not because it's funny, but because I am a chatterbox. All right, so today's project is we are using some of these African trade beads, and I am so in love with these beads. You can get these in a little mystery assortment over on Jesse James Beads, and I love a good mystery, right? I love all kinds of things where I don't know what I'm getting in the mail. Weird, right? So what I mean is like the magical mystery boxes, I love those because you never know what you're going to get. So much fun. The new quarantine kits that are available through jessejamesbeads.com, love those. Don't know what you're going to get. Cannot wait to get mine. And then there's like a kid craft kit for everybody stay at home. Like, cannot wait because I want to know what's in there, right? I do Ipsy. It's one of those like makeup bags, and I don't know what I'm going to get. I can't help it. So when there are little smaller, less expensive ones, and this is one, I'm pulling it up on the computer so I can read you exactly what it says. So under what's new, first of all, if you've not been over to the Jesse James Beads website in a minute, you need to go over there because there's a ton of new stuff. But if you'll scroll down, like halfway down the page, there are some African trade beads in a mystery assortment. So you're going to get a little mystery assortment of these beads. And I love that because I love the mystery of it. But I also love these beads. There is something very, I don't know what it is about these beads. They're irregular, right? But to me, there's something about them that just feels really, really good. They come from Ghana, and I wish that I knew more about them, but I just kind of feel like this brings it back home when it comes to jewelry. When I very first started doing these Facebook Lives with you guys, I told, what's up with my fingers? Let me put those down. I told you guys that I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to jewelry and beads and like bead history and jewelry history and that whole thing. That's kind of, I guess that's why I love these so much, because it feels like it is like a throwback to the beginnings of beads, right? The earliest currency known to man was beads. And this is just very, I don't know, it just kind of brings me to that in my insides. Weird. Yes, I know. But if you love those or you love a mystery, definitely go check those out. The link is in the top for you guys. While you're there, check out everything else that's what's new. We did a bracelet project yesterday. That's this guy with some amazing pieces of leather that are now available over on the Jesse James site. There are some sliders, there are some clasps, and there is a huge selection of colored leather that is absolutely to die for. Then there are the Design by Me strands, tons of those, and then metal beads in some really awesome little shapes and styles. We used the roses in yesterday's project. So there's a lot of stuff over on the website. Don't think that everybody has completely shut down because Jesse James Beads still pumping out amazing products. So check that out. Check out the African trade beads. Love those. Kathleen says they are perfect in their imperfections, just like us. That may be part of it as well, right? Because they're not perfect little beads, but there's something so special and perfect about their imperfections. So I think you nailed that right on the head. Okay, so to get started, you're just going to need a couple of things. Not a lot in this project. You're going to need about 24 inches of 24 gauge wire. That's probably overkill. You know how we do. And then you're going to need about 4-5 inches of 22 gauge wire as well. And we're going to put this all together. We're going to get down on the mat. We're going to look at these seed beads that make me crazy. And we're going to put together a really fun earring. So let's do this, shall we? All right, you guys. So I'm back to using my old tripod just for the time being because I busted the other one yesterday. So I apologize. It's a weird one, and it makes really strange shadows, and we're just going to have to kind of muddle through with it. Okay, so like I said, we're using size 11 seed beads in red, and we're using some in white. We're going to start with the white, so the white is what Well, I'll pour it out in a minute just to kind of keep myself from going completely crazy. Okay, and we're also going to use one of these electroplated shell beads. These are from the Mauna Loa 2-tier bead mix over on Jesse James Beads. This was from the Destination Hawaii collection, and I have been saving these 2 shell beads for a very, very special occasion, and this is the perfect opportunity to use these. If you've got these at home, grab them, use them. If not, definitely that 2-tiered mix is still available, so go grab it. But I do want to mention that this is not a regular bead, meaning that it's not drilled, right? There is no hole. So we're going to have to improvise just a little bit. There's still a little piece of wire here from where I was working with this yesterday. We are going to make it usable. These are normally used with like cords so that you can tie knots, you know, since they don't have a hole. My neighbor has decided to have their lawn crew come like right now, so I apologize if you hear that. Okay, so let's get started with what we're going to need to hold this little guy in place. So we're going to get started with a wrapped loop on the bottom of that piece of 24 gauge wire. And you want to come down about 3, maybe 4 inches on that, okay? With your chain nose pliers, give it a bend, create your little 7 shape, and then you want to come in with your round nose pliers, and we're going to go up and over the top barrel of the pliers. Now, I'm going to do this twice because I'm using 24 gauge wire. So I'm looping twice. You don't have to if you don't want to. I just feel like that makes a nice sturdy loop since it is a little bit smaller of a gauge wire, okay? All right, so now we're going to do our wire wrapping, and we're going to do about 11 wire wraps. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, hi Suzanne, and 11. Okay, so we've given ourselves about 1/4 of an inch of wraps here. We're going to trim off the tail. All right, so now we have to attach our shell bead, and we can't thread it because there's no hole. So what we're going to do is we're just going to wrap this guy. And let's see, which direction did I go on the other one? Okay, so I'm going to take the tail end of the wire, okay? I'm going to go through the center of the bead because it's open, right? Thread all that on. Okay, now you can see we've just thread through, no hole. I'm going to take the top of the wire where my wraps are and just give it a bend so that it's going to stand up as if there is a hole there, which there is not, right? Okay, my tail end of the wire is coming out of the back. I'm going to come up towards the front and wire wrap around once. So I've just kind of captured, I'll show you the back. So I've just kind of captured that shell bead with my 24 gauge wire, right? Okay. Now, I'm going to come to the back, going straight across the back, and you can see where the shell kind of fills in. There's a big opening here, but from the front you don't see a whole lot of the back, right? Because the opening on the front is really small. So you're not going to see this wire coming across the back of the shell. And we're going to take the tail end of the wire. That's just running down the back, okay? Haven't done anything to it yet. I'm going to take the tail end of the wire, go through the front of the shell, right? And loop it. I'm going to pull tight and loop it. So I've just captured it that way, right? Okay, so now we're going to do those wire wraps down here on the bottom, and they are going to be loose, right? They can go backwards like this because they're not really attached to anything just yet. But as we do our herringbone wire wrapping with the seed beads on it, it's going to create the structure for this, right? You're just gonna have to trust me on that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come down here on the bottom, and of course, you guys know you should measure. I never, ever do. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it to see how much space there is there, giving it a bend in the wire, hoping that I've not over guesstimated here. And we're gonna do 2 more loops here. Okay, so there's one. I'm going to open it up so that I can go around a second time. Again, just extra sturdy. Okay, all right, so now I'm going to switch hands. I'm going to do the wire wrapping to fill up that space there. I'm not even going to count because I don't want to know how far off my eyeball measurement was. And it doesn't really matter how tight these are because we're going to cover them all up, right? Okay, so now I want my wire to be coming out to one side, right? Just like with our other herringbone techniques, we want that wire to be coming from the back around to the front, okay? Has to be going that direction. It can be going the other way, right? It can be coming out to the right side, but it still has to be coming from the back out the front. Always want that wire to be coming from out to the front. Okay, so we've got our wire wraps. This one is secure, this one is not, but it will get secured. Okay, so there's no rhyme or reason. There's no actual measurement of how many of these seed beads. So we're just going to take the end of our wire and we're just going to use it like a needle, and we're going to pick up some of these seed beads, and it's going to take a few, so it's going to take a minute, right? But that's all right. We're not in any hurry. And of course, if you are in a hurry, you can always come back and watch this later, and you can fast forward through this part. So we're just threading some of our seed beads on. Keep in mind, you can use a different size seed beads. This is the world's worst bead mat, by the way. I keep picking up pieces of the felt. All right, so you can use bigger size seed beads for this and it won't take nearly as many. But I just kind of liked the way that the 11s looked. 11, I have the most out in my stash of size 11s. I must have used those in a previous life for a lot of bead weaving projects. All right, so you just want to get several beads on to the wire. Take your time. I know it's kind of hard probably to see these because they are whites on a white background. All right, so that's a good amount of seed beads. I'm going to drop these down here to our bead, our shell bead, okay? And what we want is we want to curve that along the side of the shell bead, okay? And it's not a regular shape, it's irregular, so you just want to follow the curve of that shell, no matter what it looks like. Sharon, I'm using 24 gauge for this. Yes, yes. All right, so we have more beads than we need. That's fine. I'm just going to kind of pull these down out of the way for just a minute, okay? Hold them in my hand, and I'm going to take this wire, and you see I'm going across the front of the wire wraps. I'm going to wrap around to the back and back out to the front. Okay, so I've secured that row of seed beads that's running along the edge of our shell. Now I have these beads that were there. There were too many, but now there's not quite enough to go back up the other side. So I'm going to come in and pick up a few more. And you guys, we may actually swap bead mats here in a minute, because I cannot fight this piece of felt the entire time. You guys, I'm looking for, maybe you can help me. This is a good opportunity to ask. So I'm looking for a plain white bead mat, like a piece that really is made for beading, because this is just a piece of felt and it picks, right? And if you're working down on it, all of the little pieces, it picks and it clings to all the tools, it clings to the beads. It's really just not very kind. But I can't find plain white bead mats anywhere. So if you know, because like they come in like a cream color and a tan color and a blue, but I cannot find them in white. If you know of a source, please let me know. Okay, so now it looks like we have just the right amount of beads to come along the other side of the bead. Okay, so just line that up, let the wire guide right down, follow the curve of the bead, whatever it is. Okay, it's not going to be a perfect circle. Coming down here to the wire wraps, you can see that wire is running across the front of the wire wraps. We're going to wrap around to the back and back out to the front. Okay, so now I have secured 2 little loops of beads on the outer edge of our shell. Yeah, Wanda, it might be. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's get a bowl. Do you have a bowl on hand? That might help. Okay, let's pour these in here. Oh, the joys of beading. We'll add some more to this, and let's just get this guy out of the way. He's just not very, very helpful. It was a great idea the first like 2 times I used it, it was fine. But then it I don't know, he got mad. And okay. A velour blanket, that might work. I just worry though with the lights and everything. I always worry about what the flashback is going to be in the camera. So you kind of have to be careful with what you use, but I may need to try that. Okay, so now we are, I don't know that this helps that much, but this may be worse. No. Be all right. So we're just going to pick up another bit of the white. So we're going to do 2 rows of the white, and then we're going to do 2 rows of the red. This is not helping. We're just going to go with this ugly washed out color because this is a real bead mat. I am sorry for the yellow, but all right, much better. I just need to find this exact kind of material, whatever it is, this special, like, I don't know what they make bead mats out of, but it's perfect. I need to find it in white. Okay, so picking up all of our little beads here, we're just going to kind of eyeball it. It doesn't matter how many. We just want to be sure that we have enough. So we're going to give ourselves about 2 inches of the seed beads. I should research it, find out exactly what bead mats are made out of. All right, there's enough beads, I think. I'm going to bring this down here. All right, so now we want this row to go on the outside edge of the first row. Got a little kink in that. So normally with herringbone wire wrapping, we want it to lay behind. But when you're using beads, you don't want it to lay behind because you still want your beads to be visible. So you just want those beads to go directly next to the row that you just created. And be careful about getting kinks in your wire. Try to keep mine as kink-free as possible. So if you get a sharp bend in it, it just does not look the same. All right. So lay that right on up there, and I have extra beads. I'm just going to kind of pull those out of the way. We'll use those in just a second. Okay. Again, that wire has come up to the wraps down here. We're going across the front of those wraps. We're going to wrap around the back out to the front. Okay, then I can drop those beads, those extras, back down on, and we are, so you guys, if you're watching the comments go rolling by while I'm picking up these beads, I hope you guys just saw Sarah James's comment. All right, so I'm going to add some beads, and you guys read that comment as I am adding the beads to the wire here. Seed beads are coming, you guys, to the Magical Mystery Bead Boxes. That's what she said. And that's kind of why I am reintroducing myself to seed beads and trying to, you know, get in better standing with my seed beads. Trying to make amends with my seed beads because I do have such a love-hate relationship with them. But there is so many things that you can do with seed beads, even if you are not a bead weaver, right? You can use them. They make wonderful spacers. You can use them in projects like this that is not necessarily bead weaving by any means because we're using wire. So seed beads are, you know, it's I guess what I would consider an essential tool, an essential bead. So I'm really trying to make my peace with my seed beads. You know, it can be a struggle. All right, so I've got enough for a second row, but I do want to kind of straighten that out a bit. Okay, and again, I'm just gonna very gently, I want that to go along the edge of the bead wrap that I already made. There are too many beads here, so I'm going to pop some of those down out of the way. Now, we're not going to do another row of white, so I do have to take these completely off, but I will take them off in just a second because I do want to get this wrap secure first. So I'm going across the wire wraps here on the bottom, around to the back, and back out to the front. Okay, so there we have 2 rows on either side of the white seed beads. You move. Okay, and we have structure now where those wire wraps on the one end that were not secure, they are secure now. Those wire wraps definitely got that nice and sturdy, so you don't have to worry about those flopping backwards on you. Okay, this is the part of the seed beads that I despise the most. I do have a little scooper that's specifically designed for this. And instead of just dumping my red ones on here, I'm telling you, they commingle, and I don't like it when my seed beads commingle. It's funny, I have a cousin who, he does not like for his food to touch. Like, he can have a plate of food, but he doesn't want his mashed potatoes touching his, you know, his peas or whatever. I don't know. He's weird like that. But that's how I feel about my seed beads. I do not want my seed beads commingling because it takes so long to get them separated back out again. Okay. So now we are going to thread on some red for this. And I'm going to start loading this up with the red. Okay. Do want to straighten out my wire a bit though. Makes it a little bit easier when it's nice and straight like a needle. Also, I do want to mention, I don't know if you guys have been watching Meredith Roddy, my friend Meredith. The Bead-a-lon Facebook Lives have been going on. She has been working really, really hard in her home studio, creating some really great projects. And she just this week showed the bead spinner. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the bead spinner or not, but there is a seed bead spinner that would make this go much quicker. She uses hers for French flowers, or if you're making projects where, we're pretty close, where you need to string a whole bunch of seed beads really quickly, right? You need to make a really long string or strand of seed beads. The bead spinner is the perfect tool for the job. I've got a couple of them in a drawer and I use them occasionally. They would be perfect for this. All right, so there's the red, and I have too many, so I'm just going to move those out of the way, okay? And we're coming across the front of those wire wraps and then back out to the back, okay? And we're getting a little tight down here on this end. You can see where I didn't measure correctly. So there's a lot of wire wrap here, not so much here, but that's okay. Just keep going, okay? So we've got one row of red. We need to keep going. Kathleen says bead mats are made of Velux or Velux. I don't really know like what the right emphasis is on those letters. Interesting. Thank you, Kathleen. I'm going to have to look that up. So it's lint free, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if that's what other lint free products are made out of as well. But it's lint free and it's really kind of water repellent as well. I don't know if you guys have ever spilled anything on your bead mats, but the water tends to ball up on them so that you can kind of dab it away, which is pretty handy if you are drinking and beading. Oh, you guys, I have not left my house in so long, just like even the silliest little things are. Woo! It's been a minute since I've left the house and I'm getting a little silly. Okay, so there are our red beads. For those of you who are drinking and beading, be sure you get your waterproof bead mats. All right, coming around, that was the perfect amount. So again, I'm going to the outside edge of the last beaded row that we made. So we are not going behind like normal with our herringbone. Back around and back out to the front, okay? All right, so we've got one more row of red to do on either side, and then we will be ready to move on to the next step. Okay. So what are you guys doing out there other than creating and making jewelry? What is everybody doing to stay busy and to not go completely stir crazy? Here in my house, I work all day. I stay in my office most of the day because my husband is also here. And I just find that we get along better if we stay away from each other during normal working hours, you know, because we were kind of co-mingling, that's the word of the day today, during the day, and we were starting to pick at each other, and so now I kind of stay up here and he stays downstairs. But at night, we're all getting together. Of course, I insist that my family eats as a family for dinner, but you know, we've been watching movies, watching a lot of things on Netflix, Amazon. We have let our teenagers watch movies that my husband and I haven't watched since we were teenagers, things that we like. We try to think of movies that we loved but haven't seen in a long time, like the original Batman. My kids had never seen that, and I think that came out in like 1988, so it's been a while. We've been working, well, not me, but my husband and my middle child, my daughter, they have been staining the back porch, doing some projects outside, just trying to keep, you know, just trying to keep busy so we don't lay around and get totally bored. A lot of y'all are cleaning out your craft rooms, I see. Oh, pizza dough for their own pizzas, craft kits, sending them books to read. Kathleen, you're like the dream. You're making me look bad. I love it. Sharon does Tai Chi. That's really, really good. Yeah, separate things during the day. Sharon says she and her husband do separate things during the day. We do too. It just, you have to, because it's weird to all of a sudden have another adult in your space, right? All day, every day. Online shopping, Julie, I'm feeling ya. I have to stay off of Amazon. I have a shopping problem, you guys. And then somebody mentioned last week that they also have a shopping problem, and they can't hide their boxes that come in from their husband, because your husband is there the whole time. Can't hide any packages. That's how I'm feeling. All right. Danielle says her kids break her zen. Gosh, right? I know. My kids, well, my two older kids, they pretty much keep to themselves, or my daughter, my middle child, she's out there helping my husband. She's a very, you know, she loves to do projects, and so she's happy to help stain the deck. My son, my eldest, he kind of stays in his room, but my 10-year-old, she loves me being home and she loves her being home. Going across the front here, this is the last one. Across the front, wrap it around and back out the front. And so when I'm not doing Facebook Live, she is joined to my hip. She's like I have a German Shepherd. He's my Velcro dog. I have a Velcro 10-year-old too. So while she's home, she is with me. Like, I've made a little space for her on my desk. We keep each other company. It's kind of nice. I don't mind it at all. Better her than my husband. Okay. I didn't say that out loud. All right, so we're down to the end here, and we have filled up the space. Remember, this one was getting really tight down here at the bottom. We've covered up quite a bit of the wire wrapping down here. I am going to go around a couple more times, though, just to kind of bulk that up right there. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to undo, because this one was wrapped a little too close to the top. All right, there we go. That makes me happier. All right, so I just wrapped around a few extra times to get up to the top, and I'm going to trim this off. All right, trim that off. I had about 8 inches left of my 24 gauge wire, so you definitely will have some leftovers. And of course, that's all going to take, it's all going to depend on the size and the shape of the bead that you're going around, really. So that measurement is just kind of a general idea, not a set in stone. Okay, so this part is ready to go. This is going to be the bottom part of our earring, and I do not need both loops. Okay, since this is the bottom part, I don't need to hang anything from this. I'm going to leave this one because it's a little bit bulkier and a nicer looking loop. This one down here at the bottom is very crowded, so I don't need it. What we're going to do is we're going to come in with a pair of chain nose pliers. We're going to bend it back just like that. Okay, and now I'm going to squish it back. I'm just going to tuck the whole thing to the back. Ta-da, gone. Right? It's nice and flat on the back. It's not going to get caught on anything. Make sure you lay it down nice and flat. You can even come in with a pair of nylon jaw pliers if you want to and pinch that down. And now we just have the one loop on the top and the bottom loop is completely gone. Okay, move these seed beads out of my way. Now we're going to do just one more quick little thing so that we can add our African trade bead, and I'm going to use 2 little blue beads because the hole on the African trade beads is a little bit large, and so I don't want there to be too much wiggle room, so I'm going to put a blue bead on the top and a blue bead on the bottom. They're just little 4mm beads, and we're going to create a wrapped loop. Now I'm using 22 gauge wire. I'm going to grab that wire about 1.5 inches down, give it a nice bend, kind of come in with my round nose pliers to go up and over, roll out of the way, bring that on around, and I'm going to take this off because I want this to go directly onto this. I don't want to use a jump ring here. So I'm going to take the tail end of my wire, put it through the loops at the top of my beaded piece, and then I'm just going to pop those two together. Okay, so now we have a direct connection here. I'm going to come in with my bent chain nose pliers and grab that loop and switch hands. Whoops. Now I'm going to take my tail end of the wire and wrap around about 3 times. Use the bent chain nose pliers to keep the tip of the pliers out of the way. Okay, I'm in, trim that tail off. And see, we have that seamless connection there. No jump ring. All right. Now, I'm going to thread on the blue bead. Thread on the trade bead, and then another one of the blue beads. All right. Drop that down. And now we're going to create another wrapped loop here on the top, so that we can attach our ear wire. So I'm just grabbing that wire as it is exiting the bead with my chain nose pliers. I'm going to give it a bend, Okay. And now round nose pliers in so we can go up and over. Okay. Roll those out of the way and bring that over. I'm going to switch hands and wire wrap. Okay. Take that off and we're ready to trim off our tail. And the only thing that's left here, you guys, is to add our ear wire, and we have a super cool, I love these. I love these earrings so much, I cannot even begin to tell you. I don't know why. They're so sunny and bright, you know, they feel like the beach without being beachy blue. Right? It's just a kind of a different beachy feel to it. I really love it. They're perfect for spring with the red and the blue, but they're also going to take me all the way through the summer as well. And I don't know, I just feel like it's a really fun pair of earrings that you guys can put together. Use those seed beads, right? Jane says, looks very tribal. Yeah, they do. They're just super fun, super cool, something a little bit different, right? This is different from my normal everyday kind of designs. It's just, I was very, very inspired by those tribal beads, you guys, or I'm sorry, the African trade beads. So get your hands on some of those over on the Jessie James Beads website. Check out everything else that's new that's over there. I thought they were a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed those. All right, let me flip you around, and I'll even put one on so that we can see what they look like. I think they're so fun. Look, I love that. That is just like perfect springtime and summer. Like, if I'm not saying there's anything wrong with pastels. So I love pastels. I have on purple. My eyeshadow is purple. Clearly, I like pastels. I like all colors. But sometimes I just want something bright and sunny and cheerful, and I feel like this nails it. Bright, sunny, and cheerful right there. So Suzanne says she loves them, but they're too big for her. So here is my suggestion for you, Suzanne, if these are too big. So you definitely can skip the bead here. That's going to take some of the length away. And maybe instead of doing 4 rows of seed beads, maybe just do 1 row of white and 1 row of red. That's going to take this down all the way to here, right? So that's going to make it a little bit smaller. You might give that a try and see, right? And then just the ear wire without the extra bead, that makes a smaller earring for sure. So you can definitely alter this look, you know, to get what you want out of it. Or you could skip the shell altogether and do 2 rows of the seed beads around the African trade beads if you still wanted to use the African trade bead. So a lot of different options. Or last but not least, you can always take this exact design, instead of making an earring out of it, put a jump ring on it and thread it on a piece of chain, and you've got a super cool pendant, right? That's why I love earrings. They're so versatile. So, Mimi says, perfect for a denim jacket and a t-shirt. Yes, right? I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. All right. So, that's it for me, you guys. We've made it to the end of another week. Feels like the longest week ever. But you know what? We have each other, and we'll have each other next week too. So, speaking of, let me just give you kind of like a quick rundown of things for next week. So, next week, this is a little off of the regular schedule, but on Monday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, I will be on Silver Silk Online Facebook page to do a project there. I know that's kind of out of the regular routine, but everybody's routines are kind of all over the place right now. So I will be Silver Silk Online Facebook page Monday 11 a.m. doing a project there. Then it's Monday Maker with Jessie James Beads at 7 p.m. on Monday. I will have a fun project for you guys then, and then even more. I won't go the whole way through the week, but just to get you started, you'll get me twice on Monday. So if you want to come and hang out, those are the 2 places where you will be able to find me. Also, next weekend is going to be Easter. So next Friday, I will not be on here on Friday because it is Good Friday. So I'm taking Good Friday off to be with my family. You guys take your Good Friday off to be with your family, and I will be back again the following week. But you'll still see me next week. Plenty of places next week. But just keep in mind that on Good Friday, I will not be here. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Friday afternoon, you guys. Have a great weekend. If you put together any earrings or pendants or anything that look like this, definitely post them to the page. Let me see what you're doing. Joe says, can you paste your Facebook Live schedule on your page? Yes, I can. I absolutely will do that. I probably should set a reminder for myself to set that up like once a week, because it's always very fluid and different. It's always changing and evolving. So I will do that for you guys. Thank you. Y'all have a great rest of the day. I know I've already said that, but I can't say it enough. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe. Stay well. I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.